Hello and welcome to the Nerd in Motion YouTube channel, which seems to be now hosting the Hell on Earth podcast. And yeah, it's me again and thee again.
And me. I am the one. I'm the most. I've been on here the most now.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yes.
We just get on really well and we just chat. We can just chat for days.
Chatting a long time already.
Yeah.
And we haven't even started. But
no.
Is that a knife?
That is a knife, yeah. As you can tell.
That's not a knife.
That's not a knife, mate. This is a knife. That's for unboxing.
It's nice, is that?
That was Ali Express order where I needed to make up £1.
Ah. That was £1?
Yeah, it was £1.
That's nice.
It's alright for £1, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how good it would be, but it's handy for unboxing videos. That's literally what it's there for.
Looks good. I like a little a little lock knife.
And you brought me some Holy as well.
Yeah,
I feel like a proper YouTuber.
Well, I said last time you need to try it.
I want to try it. I need to get a shaker there.
Yeah, I didn't have. I've got. This is Al's shaker. I made something horrific in it. I don't know if you've seen the cucumber salads that are like a viral thing. Yeah. I made a cucumber salad in it with put loads of soy sauce in it, so I didn't really want it back until I cleaned it. So I've cleaned it, but it was the only one that was clean before I left the house. Before I set off, yeah.
And is it genuinely... So this is a good question, actually, because we see AG1, we see BetterHelp. Now, BetterHelp's had so much scandal around BetterHelp.
Yes, it has. There's been a lot of shit with BetterHelp. Yeah,
and like Holy is another one where fantastic marketing, but is it actually a really good product? For those people watching that might be wondering, I've seen you with that like nearly every time.
It's
excuse me.
It's probably my most favourite sponsor that we've got. I use this shit like nearly every day, and I actually do use it. Like the other stuff, like forgot the other shit. What's it called? Y-Food. Like
Y-Food. Yeah, I saw that one.
Like Y-Food will send us like a few boxes when we get. Like maybe they'll send us 12 Y-Foods. And that, I'll drink it, but like I won't like that stuff. I want it every day.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, isn't it?
I went through like a phase of drinking like a lot of energy drinks because I get up early for work, so I'm not gonna mess about and make a cup of tea or coffee on a morning.
What?
Yeah, I'm not like I don't know what like coffee for me is very much a weekend thing. It's very much like
get up in the morning, have a coffee.
Coffee for me is very much a treat. It's not a tool.
Yeah.
Where, as in, like, I'll just bang one of them in some cold water and I'm ready to go.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying them because I have an energy drink nearly every day at the moment because I'm driving trucks.
It becomes expensive.
It does.
They're full of sugar and shit, and you just end up putting on a shitload of weight.
Well, I have the zero sugar ones.
I know, but they've got like taurine in them, which is probably equally as bad. It's like vaping and smoking. What's worse?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's literally it.
But it doesn't have any sugar in it. But would you rather have sugar or would you rather have? I know sugar makes people fat, but it's a natural product.
There's no sugar in this.
Ish. Yeah, there's no sugar in it. I'm pretty much fucking immune to it now, so I have 3 in one bottle. Yeah, like before I started off here, I mix flavors as well and make some mad concoctions, but I mainly have the energy ones. The hydration ones are pretty good because I don't know if that's hydration.
Yeah, that's a hydration.
That has all like electrolytes in it, and
it's got zinc and vitamins.
Yeah, all the shit that you need.
Magnesium.
And you do feel refreshed after them. You do feel like, yes, this is working. But the energy drinks have something called New Caf, which is slow release caffeine. So if I have 3 of them in the morning, I'm gonna be fine all day. Like there's no need to. Well, if I have an energy drink, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna take maybe 20 minutes to work, and then it's going to work for maybe an hour, and then I'm going to feel like shit after that, and probably want another one. Where that is like a slow burn all day, which makes me feel okay.
What time are you up in the morning?
I get up at 4:45.
Oof. I'm up at 5.
And then I leave the house maybe like 4:10, 4:15.
Goodness me.
Yeah. But
every day I get up and I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But then I get in that truck and start that diesel. Oh, I'm like, I flipping love this. I love it. It's so... I'm really lucky where I work. They're nice people.
Yeah.
So it makes it easy to want to work for them. And you can... they're very straight talking.
Yes. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, and if I think they're wrong, I will tell them. And then they'll go, oh yeah, you might have a point there.
Yeah.
And it's normally because they wouldn't know the point that I'm making because they haven't done it.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. They're really good to work for, and I enjoy it. It's not the best pay in the world, but it's only down the road from my house.
You see, these are things that you've got to kind of add up.
Yeah, this is
like before, like this job that I'm working in before. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but before the job I had before, I could make way more money. But it gets to that point where you're working so much, you don't even have time to spend the money, and it gets to that point where you think, you know what, I'd rather pay not to be here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm at that point now in my life where I've got all the stuff I want.
Yeah.
I don't really need much more. I'm happy. I'm content.
Yeah, that's a nice place to be.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You know?
Yeah.
But like this week, I booked this week of work because I've been trying to do the garden, so I've been building this wall and like I've been bricklaying, and I fucking love it. It's so good. Like my job at the minute is it's kind of like a manual labour job, but I'm completely content with it. It doesn't like push me or anything. So I've had to dig like loads of the garden out, and it's been like proper graft, and it's been real. I enjoy physical work.
See, I've done so much physical work. I don't enjoy physical work anymore.
Well, you see, it got to that point where most of my jobs have been physical jobs, and then I kind of eventually got less and less and less. And then because I love being physical. Like I'm a very
dewy person.
Yeah,
get out there. I'm a much more sit and drink beer person.
Yeah, I like having cuts on my hands, and I don't feel right unless I'm like kind of limping. Kind of person.
See, I used to be like into a lot of stuff, and always well, I never stopped grafting, but I got content doing more office and creative stuff.
Well, it's a trap, is that?
All my calluses now are back on my hands.
Well, that's good.
I think and I might be wrong here, but I am convinced that your skin must have some sort of memory. Because I'm not doing anything as tough as I was back in the day when I was mechanicking, but all the calluses from mechanicking have all come back up.
It's muscle memory in a way.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Your skin's an organ, isn't it?
And his fingers started to play up again, where it goes like it's stuck out. Do you
have arthritis in your hands?
I don't know if it's arthritis. I don't really know what arthritis.
I've got arthritis in my hands.
They just ache all the time?
No, they'll just lock up.
Oh, that one locks up all the time.
Yeah,
but the others are right.
If you're working on a car, it's a fucking nightmare. Like if you're in the cold and you're working on a car.
I've got like another thing where something's leaked out the joint in between. So it was like a black pip.
You might have. You might not have any fluid in the joint.
Yeah, it looked like that fluid had come out and it was there, but that popped and then my finger went blue for ages, and then it went. I've in my hands. I've stuck a screwdriver multiple times by accident through my hand and out the other side.
I did that when I was a kid.
Oh, it hurts, doesn't it?
Did that when I was a kid, and then I don't know if I've told you this story on here before, but when I was I don't know. Later on in primary school, I broke my thumb and we were playing some kind of game where we were like catching each other or whatever. I can't remember. And then
like a trust thing.
No, we were like running around trying to like playing catch. I don't know. And this kid ran at me, and I was like trying to catch him, and he like ran into my hands, and he bent my thumb back, and I felt it like go.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's new, but I could bend it, and being like a naive kid, I only thought like if you break something, you can't move it. It's completely broke. So I went home. I said to my mum, I've really hurt my thumb. I don't know what I've done to it, but it's not like. And I've always been injured. I've always had like wounds and stuff like that. I was always in the wars, and I was like, I think I might have broke it. And my mum was like, "Can you move it?" I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, you haven't broke it then." But it turns out I had broke it, and then I broke it like maybe every single year after that for maybe 10 years, and then I broke it on Christmas Day, and then I thought this hurts a lot, so I went to the hospital on Christmas Day, and they were like, "Yeah, you've broke this a lot." And he's like, "If you break it again, you're probably gonna have to have surgery on it." I was like, "Oh shit!" So then since then, I haven't broke it. I've been a bit more careful with it.
Funny, isn't it?
But
I've done quite a lot of breakages from various things. Motorsport, I broke a lot of stuff. Right, in karting, sliding down the track on my head at 70 miles an hour. That's not always fun. I've done kneecaps. Broke both my kneecaps in half.
Wow.
I chipped the bottom off once. I mean, look at me now. You wouldn't believe I could run. But back in the day, I was quite good at long jump at school. I kicked my leg forward so hard I chipped the bottom off the kneecap.
You see,
that hurt. I broke my collarbone playing football.
See that they leave it though.
Yeah,
unless it's really bad.
They pushed it because it was sticking out a bit. It was a green stick fracture, so it went like that. And then they pushed it back in, and that hurt bad. And then I broke the other one in karting, rolled, landed on my shoulder, broke my collarbone, and I knew I'd broken it. But I haven't got the bumps. You normally get a bump.
Yeah,
I've got no bumps. I think that was a green stick as well. But I rolled over basically and clobbered the curb with my shoulder, and I wanted to do the final. So St. John's came up, and I just had to suck up all the pain and pretend it didn't hurt. I was like, "No, I'm fine. I was like in absolute agony, trying not to throw up.
Yeah.
And they're prodding it. "Oh, move your arm like this," and I was like everything to just. And I raced the final with a broken collarbone.
Wow.
And yeah, stayed in the. I think top 10 finish.
That's not bad.
I was threw up after because I was in so much pain. But I've broken loads of ribs in karting and raced when I shouldn't have done.
What did I do? Oh yeah,
I broke my ankle messing around playing football in the street. I stood on the ball and spun around, and my foot got stuck in the curb.
You see, I haven't technically. I don't think. Right, so technically, I broke my thumb. I broke my nose. That's like going to the hospital type thing. But I think I probably broke a lot more and just not been to the hospital. Like, I think I broke my ankle. It clicks now. I never went to the hospital about that.
Yeah, my wrist clicked. I snapped my. Well, it's not my wrist. It's the bones here, but they're not lined up properly. I jumped over a hobby horse at school.
Yeah.
And I put to try and beat my friend in this race. And I just leapt over it and put my hand out, and I did it, and it snapped there, both bones. And then my finger, I just remember seeing my hand come back and touch back here, and I was like, eh! And the pain was horrific.
I used to know this lad, and he had broke his wrist like a stupid amount of times, and he had to have it like surgically repaired every time. So he had loads of scars all over his wrists.
Oh man!
But his wrist was near enough square because of like the metal inside it, and he could turn his hand like 360 all the way around because of the amount of it was so messed up, and it wasn't like attached correctly.
That's well cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Look at me.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that is my beer delivery.
Oh wow!
Pause.
I didn't know.
We're running out of beer. Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right.
We got down to one beer, and yeah, I thought this is our Friday night chill as well, and I thought I can't have guests and then not give them a drink, so I thought I was ordering some on the side. He thought I was just being really rude playing on my phone.
I didn't even know what you were doing. I just just in a world. I thought you were taking the piss a little bit. You're like, oh, I'll just get some delivered.
No. Well, we're lucky where we are. There's plenty of places. So come on, what's been going on with Hell on Earth with Lloydie and Al?
So the last time I came,
I still haven't met him.
I was in the Chinkachisic.
Oh man, I got to ride in that.
Yeah, so that had like...
I watched that with Kobe.
Yeah.
And he was like, Dad, you know when you and Johnny went out on it, did it have those stickers on it? He's 11. He's like, and I was like, do you know what that means? He's like, no. He's at high school, of course he knows what it means.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so that had like, I think when we came, that had like 2 weeks like MOT left on it. And... yeah, so me and my dad put a new exhaust on it.
Yeah, it was bad when we were...
Yeah. And then the boot sleeve was like... So...
What, CV boot?
Yes. We didn't really look at it before I bought it off the channel. Well, my dad bought it off the channel. But I was like using it to get around. So normally me and Emily have a car each, but then I haven't had a car, so I've been using Emily's BMW and like my dad's little shitty run around. So anyway, long story short, it's long story long. We jacked it up and had a proper good look underneath. So when we took it off roading, we'd crushed the exhaust. The back box was like
flat,
near enough flat.
Okay.
So I needed a new exhaust on it. So replace that, and then the boot sleeve was split open and like full of dirt in it. But then to take like the you obviously have to take the arm off it and stuff, and then it's got a drive shaft because it's front wheel drive.
Yeah.
And it was all just like rusted, and it wasn't.
It
wasn't going to be an easy job. So my dad was like, "Fuck it, we'll just sell it and get something else." So my dad sold it to this guy that wanted to make an in-betweeners car out of it.
Oh, right, okay.
And he has.
No way.
I'll send you this so you can put it in the video, but that's it now.
No. That's cool. I don't know if you can see that on camera.
I'll send you the video anyway so you can splice it in. But
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of it too.
Yeah, that looks good. I knew somebody else that had the proper replica.
You see, people do it with the newer version.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not right. Because that's not what it was.
It's a very fun car.
Yeah, it was great. When you took me out, the amount of looks you got.
Yeah.
And then I said we. It's not me. Nothing to do with me. He got spotted. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I saw the car down there. And I wondered where you were.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad. My dad got.
So it's lived on to a noble cause.
Yeah.
And also, technically, I bet he's chuffed because he's got a car with a bit of history.
Oh, I don't think he knew anything about it. The guy who bought it was a mechanic. He didn't even look at it.
Did you not tell him that this car was on our channel?
No, well, it was my dad who sold it. So then, I went with him to drop it off, and the guy didn't even look at it. He just
no way
paid, and then that was it. But I think he was dead. He just wanted one because they're quite rare cars now, and he was just like, yeah, I don't really care. I'm gonna do it up anyway. So.
No way.
Yeah, so I did that.
So my friend, his wife's Italian.
Yeah.
And they were over here for something like that, and I was telling the story out that we'd gone out.
So many in Italy.
So I showed her the video. She said, I had one of these. They're great cars.
Yeah, there's so many.
She's like, that's a nice one. It's got electric windows.
There's loads, yeah.
She proper loved it.
Yeah.
She thought it was good. I've never been to Italy, but I've seen what it's like. And also, I've seen Greece. There's millions of them in Greece. In Athens, Fiat Pandas, Cinquecentos, and Polski
When
Fiat 127s everywhere.
the last time I went to not the last time, the first time I went to Greece, my dad hired a Fiat Panda, but my dad went through a massive stage of just having Fiat Pandas. Like, he loved Fiat Pandas.
Who doesn't love a Fiat Panda? Do you remember the Seat Marabella, the first one?
No.
So I went to Benidorm as a kid with my parents and some friends of the family. He was a Formula Ford British champion racing driver.
Yeah.
And he was teaching me how to do karting.
Yeah.
And he, I still never forget this, was we were going through a toll road. So this is back in the early 90s. Maybe mid-90s. And he set off from the toll road, and it was this bright pink, basically a Fiat Panda, with a white vinyl roof that was all the way back.
Yeah.
He had a cigarette in his mouth. He had a can of beer. He was winding up the window whilst accelerating at full speed and taking a slurp of beer, changing gear, and just caning it. And at times, he just didn't have his hand on the steering wheel. And I was just like, we're going to die.
He sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, and my dad was completely unfazed. And I was like, Dad, he's not got his hand on the steering. He's fine. He's a big boy, son. He's a big boy. My dad was massive as well. Like, as wide as me, but 6'4".
Wow.
So he would, like, him in a Fiat Panda, the three of us, just this pink band, and they just didn't care. It was hilarious. And I remember they had a pit bike there, and it was like a Honda something or other. It had a centrifugal clutch, but it had gears. And Steve was, take it out. So I was riding around. Of course, I was getting carried away. And they could hear me, like going full tilt and then coming up to somewhere and skidding the back wheel. Like proper, like, doing stupid stuff. And I had a whale of a time around these orange groves.
Do you ever get into bikes?
No. And on purpose.
I just thought with karting, you might either had bikes before.
No, I was big into my mountain biking. I never did it pro or anything like that. I just enjoyed riding around.
Yeah.
But when I went onto that motorbike, like, I could endo it, no problem. I could pull a wheelie, no problem. I could come up to a thing, slide in the back wheel and stood up. And that was the first time I'd ever ridden a bike like that. But Steve disabled it, so I couldn't ride it. Because at the end of the holiday, they told me why. And the reason was, they said, like, you flat out everywhere. You've never ridden a bike. And they were like, you're going to hurt yourself and then ruin the whole holiday.
Yeah.
And they were right to do it. I was so gutted. So gutted. But they were right in what they were doing, because I was going full tilt everywhere in it. And it had, like, big buggy looking tyres as well.
I've got a pit bike.
Have you? No way.
Yeah, like the first time. Well,
like a mini crosser looking thing.
Yeah, it's big though.
Yeah, this wasn't that.
Oh yeah, this is pretty big. It's like when I started, like, earning decent money, like, the two things I always wanted was a massive trampoline and a pit bike. So I went and bought a massive trampoline and a pit bike, and yeah, it was. I'd been on bikes before, but I'd always been, like, on the back. I'd never ridden one.
So I couldn't do that. I've done pillion once and it scared me half to death.
And so I bought this bike, just thinking it's just a bike. Yeah, I've always wanted a pit bike, just something to throw around. It didn't have a back brake, so I got, like, once you get used to the gears and stuff on it, yeah, I'd got, like, overly confident on it and then just scared myself with it. Because, like my mountain bike, I go pretty quick on my mountain bike, and then, yeah. So I was, like, used to going fast. I know there's a lot of comparison, but there's not a lot of comparison because you've got an engine between your legs. And then I got used to like standing up on it and stuff like that. But I never wheeled it because it was big. I never had like a little twist and go. Well, I did have a twist and go for a little bit, but it was way too powerful. In fact, that wasn't my first bike. I had a proper motorbike for a little bit, but it was way too powerful. Like for me at the time, I was like maybe 15. My dad got me it, and you just like pull like just a little tiny bit on the throttle, and it'd start wheeling. I wasn't heavy enough for it because it was for an adult.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that long, and I only maybe like rode it properly like a handful of times, if that. So I wouldn't really count that. But then when I got the motorbike later on, it was...
Well, my dad, he just... like, bearing in mind, I'd raced throughout my childhood. He said, over my dead body, you're having a bike.
Yeah.
Just no way. And I was like, yeah, but this, but that. He's like, no. Because everything that you drive is to the limit. And he said, in a car, you might get away with it.
Yeah.
On a bike, you're going to be dead. And I can't. He said, I cannot live if you die before me.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't let me have a bike. And ever since then,
enough.
I respect them and I like them. And I bought a scooter once.
Yeah.
To commute to work on when I first moved to Yorkshire. And it was a quick one, 125, 4-stroke.
My pit bike's a 125.
Yeah, it'd go.
Yeah.
It'd go.
Decent.
And then I frightened myself on that, and I just thought, you know what, my dad's right. I'm going to hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then I just never got back into it at all. I just thought, no, this is not the thing. And then with the boys, I don't want them on bikes. And they've always said, like, Mike really likes motorbikes, but I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, no, it's... I think everyone I know that's been into bikes has been injured severely because of it.
See, this is the thing, yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not like my mate Lewis, he was like big into motorbikes, still is big into motorbikes. He just doesn't have a motorbike anymore, and it's like not... It's because of no fault of his own. It's because of other drivers. He got hit.
Oh, yeah.
He got hit and had a pretty bad accident, but it was no fault of his own.
No.
And it's just,
And now I drive a truck.
Yeah.
And I see the driving standards of people now. It's so low out there.
Oh, it's mental.
That I'm like, I would never put my kid on a bike out there.
Yeah.
No, if they wanted to do motocross on a track, jumping,
yes.
fine.
I'd be up for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
go
can,
do
I can
it.
Understand
Absolutely fine. No, on the roads, people are thick as two short planks. Some of the stuff I see is just...
When you spend a lot of time on the road, when it's your job, it's fucking scary.
I was in Bradford today, and going past Pudsey roundabout, there was a guy in a Sprinter van in front of me, and the car in front of him decides to turn left and wants to go off onto a drive.
Yeah.
But the Sprinter van wants to go into that lane as well. So he stopped dead. And I weigh 32 tons. And I'm trying to stop. All he had to do was steer round, not go into the lane.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't fully in it anyway. Just pass the car and go in.
Yeah.
But instead he just jabbed the brakes and started beeping the horn at the person going on the drive. I'm like, this is 4 lanes. You don't need to do that. You just carry on.
Yeah.
And I got alongside him and flipping frightened the life out of him. And then pointed to the dash camera. And he was like shaking his head at me. I was like... and cyclists. I don't know what's wrong with cyclists, man.
They're mental. Do you know
they're so entitled?
This new law where you've got to give them like 2 vehicles width.
Well, you can't do that in a 32-ton truck. I'd be driving in the grass.
It is 2 vehicles. It is.
You can't do it.
So it's like it makes no sense because if you're a cyclist on the road, if a car is coming the opposite way, it's already not 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
widths. It makes no sense. But like I'm always out on my bike, and I use pavements, and I just give people the right of way, and that's it.
Yeah, well, and I don't have an issue with that.
And I do use the road, but I make sure I'm not in any way of anyone.
No, it's not worth it.
Cause
It's just not worth it, is it?
no.
Well, you cycled here tonight.
Yeah.
But it's like a classic example. And this is... So, if you are a naughty truck driver and you get something wrong, they will take you out on a bike and make you ride around for half a day to realise how scary it is to have a truck go past you. But yeah. I say, bring a cyclist. I would do it. I would gladly take a cyclist out of the truck.
It works
and show them how dangerous it is.
It does work both ways. And
the worst, one of the biggest challenges, so the cyclist is in front of you, he's riding his bike, and you're going up a little bit of an incline. It doesn't have to be a lot. I'm fully loaded, so I'm running 32 tons. I've got 420 horsepower, but my power band is from 0 RPM to like 2,500. There's no more revs after that.
Right.
So I want to overtake him, but he's actually quite fast because we've got all these hybrid bikes now.
Yeah.
So he's tanking along, but I can't pass him. I can't give him the width. I don't want to be near him.
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, genuinely, I would not want to run somebody over. So I want to be as far to the right-hand side as I possibly can. But I haven't got the acceleration to pass.
Yeah.
So I end up sat just behind the bike.
Yeah.
Waiting and waiting until it gets flat so that I can go downhill so that I can speed up enough to move out. And they sit there and they're looking at you. And
they take that.
They're shaking their head and they're getting mad. And I'm like,
they take that as like you're trying to annoy them, but
we've got no. I can't.
You can't do anything about it.
I mean, I could go past them, but they'd be that far from my truck. If they make a mistake and they go under them wheels,
that's it.
I'm keeping you on.
No, you're not. I'm
cool story, bro.
I am tired.
I'm shattered as well. So
It's
what
been a long
else?
Week.
Yeah, I've only done 3 days this week, and I felt like I'd done a full week.
Oh.
So what else is going on at Hell on Earth?
So, I mean, I can tell you this story. It'd be all right me telling you this.
Go on.
So, last week we didn't upload a video, which is very unusual for us. The last time that happened was COVID. So we went to Scotland. We're falling into this habit of going to Scotland for a long weekend. We do like one long weekend a year, probably. We did one last year in September, which was really good. We all of us had like a lot of fun. We went to some of the thing with Scotland is it's so far away.
Yeah.
Wales is only 2.5 hours away, so we just can nip in and out as much as we want. Where Scotland, it's at least 5 hours to get, Midlands, Highlands, where all the good stuff is. So we saved up some space. We saved up a load of locations and ideas, and then we had a long weekend where we went up. Set off on Thursday night, and we slept in Edinburgh Thursday night, and then Friday we went to. On Friday we were gonna kayak out to a island and sleep on a castle, but we got a lot of backlash weather from America, like the hurricanes that were happening.
Yeah.
And Scotland got hit pretty hard.
It did, yeah. It got it bad actually up there, didn't it?
It got hit really bad.
Yeah.
So then
You would not want to be on a kayak in a loch.
Yeah, so we got to this. So fucking hell. So I got to backtrack to not the last time, but I can't remember which time it was. One of the first times we did a long weekend in Scotland. everything went wrong. Like, we ended up having, like, the car broke down a bunch of times. Just like loads of shit went wrong, and it was just a nightmare.
The battle bus.
Yeah, and it was horrible. And then we just thought, oh yeah, Scotland's cursed. And then the next time we went, it was like, oh, Scotland's the best place ever. Anyway, so on the way to this place, on the way to the Castle Island, I ended up getting into a bit of a collision. But the van was okay, just had like minor problems. Wasn't like anything mechanical, so it was just a beauty thing, but it was fine. But that set us back an hour. Right, so by the time we got there,
did you hit somebody else's car?
Well, that's in dispute at the minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So by the time, but that set us back an hour. So by the time if we'd have got there on time, right? How do I explain this? So it set us back an hour. So by the time we got there, the wind had just started picking up quite badly.
Right.
But if we'd have got there on time, we'd have probably got in the kayaks and got out to the Castle Island. And then when the winds had got really bad, we'd have probably been stuck there. But by the time we got there, the winds were really bad, so we had to make a bit of a judgment call. So we ended up going to a bothy that was nearby, which was about an hour's walk. So we ended up walking there in like the bad weather, which was good. I've seen the episode. Lloydie's already edited it. That's why we had that. We didn't upload, because Lloydie wanted to make basically time for himself so he could catch up on editing with other stuff with this trip. So we ended up staying in the bothy, and normally we try and get 2 videos out of a day, so it's not a complete waste of time, but because of the weather we couldn't really help it. We ended up staying in this bothy, and the video's good, it's fairly decent. And then so the plan was we were going to stay in the bothy, and then in the morning go back to the van, get the kayaks, then go out to the island, explore the castle, and then make a video of us sleeping on the castle. We ended up getting like 2 hours sleep because of the weather. So we ended up going back to the van, and we did something which we normally don't ever do, and we all went to sleep through the day.
What?
Yeah, we all went to sleep just to catch up, because if we're all tired, it's just going to be a shit video. It's
not going to be fun, is it?
We're going to be there just not wanting to be there.
Is it when you got when you're so tired you got the shakes? You're like, you feel shaky.
Yeah,
and
it was just like
horrible.
So we just went back, we had something to eat, and we slept in the van.
Is it comfy sleeping in that thing?
Yeah, it's really comfy.
Really?
It's good. Yeah, we've got a heater in there, TV, PlayStation, everything. It's like
no way.
Home, yeah. Yeah, so we I think we made some pizzas, and then we went to sleep through the day, and then we went. It wasn't meant to be like bad weather that day, so we went out on the kayaks. It was fine. We went to the castle. We slept on the castle, but then in the middle of the night, the winds got really, really bad, like really bad. And then yet again we had maybe like 2 hours sleep that night. It was really bad. Oh, so then we waited for daybreak, and the winds were really bad, and it was raining, and yeah, it was bad. So when we had to kayak back in, but it was pretty good because the wind was on our side, so it basically pushed us, but the waves were pretty big. Whew. But it pushed us back to land, and then thank fuck for that.
Good job you had good kayaks.
Yes, thanks, Ryber. And then and then after that we drove to the next place, which was a good couple of hours. I think maybe like 2-3 hours. It was a good trek to get to it. We stopped by at Jimmy Savile's house.
Again?
Which will be on our Patreon, I think, because people are probably fucking sick of seeing it. But people that want to see it will...
Is it even more trash now?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's...
The thing that creeped me out on that last video that you did about it was not the house, was that other building.
Yes.
With all the weird individual rooms.
The weird rooms and stuff. You see, the first time
there's something not right there.
The first time we ever went, that wasn't open. So we only went round the bungalow. we never saw that bit. But then someone recently kicked the doors open and there's the weird rooms. But that whole place is it's really weird. Really weird. And like,
is it weird because you know what he did?
Well,
so it puts like a.
I think that whole story is just so fascinating, and it's so bizarre, because you've got this guy who's from Yorkshire, but yet he's got ties to the royal family, and he he lived in Leeds. He had a house in Scarborough. They're all places that I'm familiar with, but it's like right on our doorstep. But yet he's got ties with the royal family, which is so beyond what is it's not in my wheelhouse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's very strange how he can just go from working in a coal mine to.
He was a master manipulator, though.
Yeah.
I think he was in the right place at the right time a lot of the times.
Yeah, there's a documentary type thing on YouTube, and I'll send you. It's a bit out there. It's a bit weird, but it points out a lot of really interesting things about Jimmy Savile. Like, he's the seventh son. There's loads of stuff about him being a wizard. There's like
a wizard.
He was born on Halloween. It's mental. The amount of like weird occult things that he was
into. It's weird though that occult and child stuff is always tied.
It's very weird. It's just like. Did
you ever see the video with him and Rolf Harris?
Yes, I have.
That's well creepy.
It is weird.
That's like proper. They both knew what each other were up to.
Oh yeah, they were into it. Yeah, it just there's more to it than meets the eye. I think with all that stuff.
Well, it's still happening. That's the problem.
It is still happening,
and they're trying to normalise it in many ways. I think
they are. Yeah.
When you've got somebody at the BBC doing that with minors,
well, it's just like
and then gets a suspended sentence.
Well, even now,
and then somebody says something about something that the government doesn't like.
Yeah,
and they get 2 or 3 years and then or more and commit suicide.
What's even recently, like the Philip Schofield stuff, what he did was, what's out there is questionably, what he did was technically legal.
I'm not talking about him.
I know, but I'm just on about.
Yeah.
But the BBC, he's now got a contract with the BBC, and he recently did a program with the BBC.
Oh, is that where he was on the beach? On this island,
that whole thing's a really weird. That's a really weird thing to watch.
I just haven't watched it.
I watched someone who watched it, who did like a little bit of a breakdown on it, because I'm not sitting through that shit. But that whole thing's so weird. Like, why would, after all that stuff, it leads it there's a lot of questions, like a lot of questions that aren't answered about that whole thing.
Yeah.
Why would then a TV company, like, a production company, why would the BBC then want to take him on and give him a contract? It's weird.
It is weird. But then they've got that weird statue outside the building.
Well, that's just...
There's so much wrong with the BBC.
There's a lot of questions that...
And there's like this inherent thing with them where it seems to be like at every level. And every time a celebrity dies, I'm like, have they done anything dodgy? Is it going to come out that they've been up to no good?
Yeah.
And like... Well, I've got my theory about the P. Diddy thing.
Oh.
P. Diddley.
See, the thing with P. Diddy, I don't really know much about it.
Man. Well, they won't, but it's odd that he's been up to this for years and years and years, but only now has he started to get in trouble for it. And who used to be at a lot of these parties, who was fronted, who did he front? Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
There's videos of him like with her in a big fancy dress. It's like, oh, this is Kamala Harris. Get the name Kamala Harris. And she was at all those freak out parties and all that. They had to do something with him because if she was going to be president, they couldn't risk him being able to blackmail the president.
I see.
That's what I think.
Right. Okay.
But this is completely, what's the word? My own thoughts. It's like just a theory, and it, I'm not saying that is definitely what it is.
Yeah. It's just a fun thing to think about.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
It's not like, I wouldn't take a lot of notice that I'm gospel, but it just seems like reading between the lines on stuff that's what it might be.
Yeah.
Because I can't understand, yes, he's been up to all this stuff, but why is it taken till now?
Yeah.
If they all knew all the baby lube and all the baby oil and...
You see, I don't really know much about it. What I know is I know about the baby oil, those like pallets of it. And I saw early on there was that video of him, like he was like dragging that girl around by her hair in the hotel.
Bad. But why that was symbolic, or why that was so important, was because it proved that he lied in court. So he'd paid off the hotel not to show the video, and basically in court he said, no, that never happened.
But you see, this is I'm not condoning his behaviour, but he's like he's a gangster rapper. He's involved with shootings and like Biggie and Tupac, and he's got his finger in all that shit, and it's like, how can
you half expect it.
Yeah, you half expect it. He's that kind of person. Why are people shocked by this? He raps about shit like this.
Yeah, but then I think the bit that's shocking is all the politicians and all the rich and friends with Epstein and all of those guys were up to it, like some weird stuff with him as well. And that Justin Bieber, his relationship with Justin Bieber.
That's weird.
That whole... Did you see the thing where he says about, oh, I'm meant to be looking after you for the day and all this?
No. I saw
I'm your... What is it? It's like something really like... I'm your guardian for today or something. It was just like almost like he owned him for that day.
I saw the video of it was like a load of like short clips of stuff with Justin Bieber and like people kissing him and like when he was
did you see the woman?
Pink. The one with
Pink. I didn't see it was Pink. It was another woman. She was just so all over him.
There was one with Pink and she was like
he
trying
was
to
a
kiss.
kid.
Yeah, he was like 14 or something. Fucking crazy.
If a guy did that on the stage with a girl, he'd be in prison.
Of course.
Well, that guy kissed that flipping...
Oh, that footballer...
yeah. And
that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but that was just...
That's an example, yeah.
Did he slap her ass?
I think
I thought he just kissed her on the lips.
Oh, no, he did kiss her on... I'm just...
Yeah, he was just like, oh, well done, mwah, gave her a kiss on the lips.
I'm sure there was something... Maybe I'm making this up, or maybe it's a different case, but there was one where he slapped someone on the ass. The same guy slapped someone on the ass. I think I might be making that up, I don't know.
It's got form.
Yeah.
No, could you pass me another one of them?
Yes.
It's right on the end. We've got a fridge and everything. That's how pro our podcast has got this now. We've really gone the whole 9 yards.
I went off topic then, but...
Yeah. So, basically, Scotland...
Yes, go back to Scotland, right? So, after we did Jimmy Savile, then So, the last time I went to Scotland, we went to... I don't know if you've seen the video. It's like... Everyone who goes there takes a picture of it. It's like at the bottom of Ben Nevis. It's this old boat called... they call it the Old Boat of Cole. But the boat's had loads of different names over its time, been passed between different people and renamed. So basically, we went there last year because we wanted to get on it and have a look around it. And it's just a shipwreck, like on the side of the... I can't remember the play. I can't remember the name. The name where it is, it has a Gaelic name, but the Gaelic name translated into English means field of corpses because it used to be a place to drop off bodies. They used to like ferry bodies, like do a relay when they were moving bodies. Like one boat would drop them off and then another boat would pick them up.
No way.
So yeah, this boat, it's called Old Boat of Call. If you look at it on Instagram, everyone, like, you know, these fucking people these Instagrammers that pretend they're outdoorsy people will go there in their Patagonia t-shirts and take pictures.
What is it with Patagonia t-shirts?
I like Patagonia. I think it's cool, but you know, it's just.
I feel like it's been
hijacked.
It's been hijacked. It's like Burberry.
When I think of Patagonia, I think of someone climbing Mount Everest in like the early 90s with.
Yeah, like really going for it.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
But now it's just these.
I just think of skanky guy that was upset with me driving my Jeep hadn't brushed his teeth for 2 years.
Yeah, and you see these girls that are wearing like low-cut tops and they've got a Patagonia hat on and they just pretend they're outdoorsy people on Instagram, but they're not. They just want it for the likes. Anyway, them types of people go there and take pictures of it and say, yeah, we've been on a great van life experience. Anyway, so we went there to check it out last year, and me and Lottie joked about it and said, like, oh yeah, we should sleep on it. Right. So the day came like a year and a month later where we were gonna sleep on it, on a shipwreck. So me and Lloydie were like, yeah, that's a great idea. So we
how did you get to the at no point would I think that was a great idea.
Right, yeah, right. But we thought, yeah, well, because it's on a bit of a tilt. It's on an angle because it's a boat, obviously, and it's on its side. It's like on an almost 45-degree angle. It's really on its side. So when you get on it, you like, you know, you've got to find your feet, kind of thing. Anyway, so we thought we'll get hammocks and we'll string hammocks up on it because then we'll be fine and we'll just sleep in hammocks. And it's really like on the side of the, it's like on the side of the banks of the, it's like an estuary type thing. It does go out to sea.
So don't move or anything?
No. But we'll get to that.
Oh no.
So, yeah, we went there and we got the hammocks and everything and we went and had a look around it and it was okay. And then the weather started getting bad. No, right now previous to this, I said to Lloydie, I was like, do you know if the water surrounds it? Like if the water comes in and surrounds it? And Lloydie was like, no, the water doesn't surround it. Now, when most pictures of it are when the water is completely out. When the tide goes out, it goes out by, I don't know, close to like 100 meters from the shore. Like it goes out really far and the boat's really like, you know, almost inland. It's probably like, I'd say maybe between like maybe 20-25 foot from land.
Oh right.
So it's basically inland.
Yeah.
So we didn't think anything of it, and then so, for everyone that doesn't know, when it's a full moon, you have higher tides. So it was a full moon. So when we got on it, it was just about getting dark.
So did you walk to it?
Yeah, we walked to it. Yeah, and so the tide was just coming in, but at this point, it hadn't hit the boat. So then we were on the boat, and the tide came in pretty quick. And the water slowly started surrounding the boat. So we were like, fuck. Well, I was like, I didn't, because if I knew the boat was surrounded by water, I wouldn't have stepped foot on it. There's no way, because I'm not a very strong swimmer. So I was like, I don't know if I want to stay on this. So
what's the name of this boat? See if I can find it.
Old Boat of Call. If you put in Old Boat of Call, it should come up. It's been there since 2011, which we didn't know at the time. Lloydie was like, it's been there for like 40 years.
This thing?
Yes, that's the one. You see how much it's on its side?
Yeah, it's proper listing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't spell. apparently. Let me put that in here. There you go.
Yeah, that's the one. It's a pretty big boat. It's not the biggest boat, but it's pretty big. It used to be a fishing boat. So pardon me. So the hull is completely hollow, and then at the front there's like it's like open, for fish to drop fish into it, so it holds fish. I think now don't quote me on this, but I think it's from the 1930s. The boat was built in the 1930s. It might tell you on there somewhere. But yeah, a little bit of history on it. It was
1975 it was built.
Oh, I'm totally wrong then.
Well, it's not that old though, is it, really?
75 it was built, and then it lost its mooring in 2011, and then it ended up being washed up there. It didn't get completely washed up there, but it was in that estuary, and then the lifeguard, then the Coast Guard basically pulled it to shore, and they left it, and that's where it's been abandoned ever since. Right, now, on that picture, you see, it goes way further out than that. And we thought it had come to, here, but it didn't. It got completely surrounded. Now, beforehand, we thought that it was... I thought it wasn't going to get surrounded. And I thought, oh yeah, in the middle of the night, me and I'll probably jump off and, I don't know, mess around on the beach. I don't know. I didn't think it'd get surrounded. Anyway, it was slowly getting surrounded. And we were like, do we sleep on it, do we not? And I was in two minds about it. And them two were... Al was like, I'm not too fussed, I'll sleep on it or I'll go, I'm not too fussed. And Lloydie pretty much thought, we'll be fine if it gets surrounded. So, with them two being kind of blasé about it, I was like, oh, we should be okay. Going off them.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, the boat ended up getting completely surrounded by water, and it started floating.
Oh.
Now, this slowly happened, and we got hit by 65-mile-an-hour winds. It was thundering. It was lightning.
Oh my gosh.
It was thundering. It was lightning. Now you see on this you see on this picture. You see here. There's a footpath here that's that's much higher.
Yeah.
And then past that, there's a rugby pitch and maybe a football pitch. The water came up past the path that it shouldn't normally go past because it's it's like hurricane winds, and the boat was getting smashed against the floor. We were getting hit by waves that were coming over the boat. It was the single most scariest part, the most scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my fucking life.
Wow.
We were on that boat, I think, either 6 or 7 hours before we could get off it before the tide went out. Because I was like, if this starts floating off, because it could float out to sea. We've got no way of controlling it. If this starts floating...
So is that rope not tied to anything?
So it's tied to this weird... It's chained to this half-ass anchor type thing, but it doesn't... See, right, so when you climb onto it, there's a little rope, there's a rope there,
yeah.
And at the bottom someone had stacked up some stones, and there was a big metal door, a safe door there. When we got off the boat in the morning... all that stuff had just been thrown. It was gone. The amount of stuff that was on the bit, because it was I can't.
This is crazy.
I was trying to explain this to everyone that I've told about this. I was trying to explain to them what I was going through for this time, and I had completely lost my shit. I was throwing up.
Really?
I was like. I thought I was gonna die. It was.
So, I'm guessing that's got no glass in it.
So the boat, because of the wind, was getting battered. The walls inside that boat were getting ripped down because of the wind.
Oh right, so
the boat kept floating up like this because we were lucky in a way. That's the little concrete thing that's full. We were lucky in a way because the wind was coming towards, so it was pushing the boat further inland.
Right, okay.
But the boat kept on getting picked up and slammed against the floor and making these like smashing sounds. And like, it was fucking.
No way.
I have done some really, really sketchy stuff. Like
Did you film this?
Yeah, we filmed it. Or we even stopped filming halfway through because we were just like, this is too much. This is really bad.
Oh my gosh.
This is
life and death stuff now.
It got. I think Lloydie kept on trying to put on a brave face. And he was like, we're fine. But I had lost my shit. I went through so many emotions, like
I thought you were going to say underpants.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Are we going to get washed out to sea? Like, I'm prepared. Because we
Well, the plus side is you knew it floated.
Yeah, but it didn't. It did, and it didn't float. There's a hole there's a hole in it, so it filled up with water. But like, if we got hit by a big wave, we would get pushed.
It'd roll, yeah.
And then the water inside would be delayed, so we'd get hit even more with the water inside. It was, honest to God, I haven't been like, when you're a kid and you're like scared of the dark. I've never been scared of the dark, but let's say you're scared of something as a kid, and it's like really, really frightening. I don't know. It was weird. That's a poor explanation of it, but I have never been that scared as an adult of anything, and I've been in some really, really sketchy situations. Like recently, I climbed that massive satellite dish in Italy, and everyone was like, "You shouldn't have done that." I would do that every day of the week, apart from spend a night on that boat. Now,
it's really traumatized you.
It was. After we didn't really speak to each other that much, and we just went to the van, and then we went home the next. Well,
so where did you hide in that?
So this bit here, I just stood there like for most of the time. I just stood right there because that's where you get off. I just stood there.
For those, it's. Oh, I don't know how I can point to that on the screen. There, you stood there.
Yeah, I basically stood there the whole time. Now, when you get onto the boat, you're like having to stand weird because it's on an angle. Eventually, you just could stand normally because it was floating. Yeah, the amount of emotions that I went through was like there was times where I couldn't physically speak. Like,
oh my gosh,
I couldn't. Yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. And then after that, we were just, me and Lloydie were speaking. We were just like, that was stupid. That was really stupid. But
well, why not? What was it? In anything in here for a bit of shelter?
You see that bit there?
Yeah.
The floor is completely gone inside there.
Right. Okay. So you can't go in there.
So you can't. But this is all quite sheltered. But you would get like a through wind because you've got like a corridor here and a corridor on the other side.
Yeah,
so you're just getting pelted with rain. Like I've never.
So is there no floor in the wheelhouse at the top?
Yeah, but you've got to walk all the way around here and climb up a ladder, and you didn't want to be exposed to the wind was fucking crazy, and because of all
you were just huddled in there
because of all the debris and stuff like that, it was getting thrown against the boat. I've got a video that I put. I don't think I deleted it. No, maybe I did delete it. I did a video after. Oh no, I think I deleted it. I did put it on Patreon. I'll show you later. But
didn't you think we might need to phone somebody to come and get us?
Well, a part of us didn't want to because then we're putting other people's lives at risk because we fucked up basically. Being idiots, so we just kind of rid it out, and we're just staring at tide tables, and we're just basically clock watching for 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours. It was horrible, and then we managed to get off. I think it was.
I can't. Yeah, man,
I can't remember. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning that the tide went back out, and we got off. But like I was saying, I prayed, I cried, I was just like, I wasn't like crying, but I was just like distraught. Like I couldn't speak. I was like, if this starts getting pushed out to sea, we're fucked. We're completely fucked.
Yeah, you can't steer that sucker.
Yeah, and the water was like up to here.
What?
Yeah, and then we were getting the rain, the wind, 65-mile-an-hour winds.
And you were all soaked?
No, like, because the boat was getting hit from, like, this side, where the boat is, it was getting hit from here, but then the wind well, there was parts where we were getting soaked. Like, I took everything out of my bags because I was going to jump. I was like, if this starts floating away, I'm jumping.
Well, yeah, at that point.
Because
you're close enough to give it a solid go.
Yeah, and then since then, I've been like, every single thing in my life that's been like a challenge, or like, you know, remotely like I've been putting off, or something that would be difficult, I've just compared to the night on the boat. I was like, would you rather do this or spend the night on the boat? I was like, it's fucking nothing compared to the boat. It's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you properly traumatized yourself.
A lot of stuff has just been like, in a way, it's told me, it showed me what really matters in my life. It was a massive eye-opening experience. Now, on the way home,
so that boat might have done you a big favour.
It did do me a big favour. It did me a massive favour. But on the way home, because I didn't think anyone had ever slept on it before, but I found out that someone had slept on it before on the way home. But they slept on it in summer, and like the water is nowhere near as what it was, and they just slept in a tent on it, and it was fine. But we slept on it in hurricane winds. Fucking
my gosh, you could. Some of the stuff you do, honestly, on your channel, I just think, oh my gosh, there's no way I'd take that risk. And I don't know if that's just because I've got older.
Well,
I'm 44 now, and I think I look at stuff and I'm like, don't need to do that. Like, I watched Al climb in that cave, and it was super tight, and you trying to get down and all that. If I'd been there, I'd have said, I'm not doing that. I'm done. Yeah. Love you guys, but I ain't going down there. And if you get stuck, I ain't coming down for you.
Well, I think
I'll go and get help.
I wouldn't. Mines petrify me. I don't like mines. But I would rather go down any mine than spend a night on that boat.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad?
Yeah. That boat was
horrendous.
It was I was absolutely terrified.
Do you think that now puts you off being on a boat?
Well, I was like...
Have you been on a boat since?
No. This only happened, I don't know, a couple of weeks. When was it?
You need to try and get on a boat as soon as possible.
Oh, I think I'll be fine, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I've got this... I was like getting used to it at a certain point, getting hit with waves and stuff like that. I was like, actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And then I was like, is this all they've got? Is this all you've got? I was like, don't be a dickhead. Don't push it. You just want to get off this boat and go home. You'll be like, I don't know. I have to push things, but I've stopped caring about a lot of stuff since that boat, and I'm just happy to be off the boat and.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
It was truly
life changing.
Yeah, it was mad. It was properly mad.
I wonder if anybody watching this could find out who owned it and what their story is. We'd love to know. I would love to know.
It was called. I'm gonna probably fuck this up, but it was called like Golden Harvest or something. It was I might be getting this wrong, but I think it was built in Scotland.
So was it part of a fleet?
No, I think it was just
an individual.
It was just an individual.
But it'd be interesting to hear their story, because I feel like that thing proper skinted somebody.
Well, I think it was built in Scotland, and then I know it went to Ireland for a bit, and then that's where it got converted into a trawler, and then it ended up going back to Scotland, and then it got washed up there. Now, Lloydie kept saying the whole time we were there, he's like, "Oh, I'm sure it'd be fine. It's been here for like 40 years, but it hasn't. It's been there since 2011, so it hasn't been there that long, really." And it hasn't.
And it gets in worse condition every year.
It gets in worse condition. All these things are going through my head. It's getting in worse condition every year. We're in a storm. It's not just It's not just a normal day. It's.
So what we've learned is, don't listen to Lloydie.
Yeah, don't listen to Lloydie.
Lloydie, does Lloydie watch the podcast?
I know he's listened to it. I know he's watched a few.
Oh, right.
So,
okay.
yeah, I think he might have done. He might have listened to. I know he watched the first one. I don't know if he watched.
I've never met you, Lloydie, but if you're watching this, don't be so silly, you madman. What's wrong with you? Honestly, I grew up by the sea, and when I go out with my kids, always teach them respect the sea. It'll kill you in a heartbeat. And they're like, oh yeah, and Liz is like, oh. And my family up here, my northern family, on my wife's side, all the same. I'm like, just be careful. Don't go out any further. Don't do that. Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. Like, it's really dangerous. And you can really get yourself in trouble. And you could just be swimming out and paddling around, and you think you're all right. And before you know it, an undercurrent's got you, or you've gone that little bit too far, your feet aren't touching the ground, and you're going out.
Yeah. I've been there.
Don't just be careful.
I don't know if you've ever picked.
I honestly think it's because around here, you're nowhere near the sea, and you don't see it on the daily.
That's true. I don't know if you've ever picked up on it, but Alan Lloydie always joke about me drowning. We went to Tenerife, and we were snorkeling like all day, and I'd gone out pretty far. I'd swam pretty far out, and then as I was swimming back in, I was just knackered.
Yeah.
I was just absolutely knackered, and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Just couldn't kick anymore, and I was like, "Shit, I'm gonna drown."
Did you get on your back?
No, I should have done. Just started panicking like an idiot, but then Lloydie swam over to me. He was like, "You all right?" I was like, "No," but then I basically had a moment where I went underneath, and I was like, "Shit, I just need to start kicking and get back to the shore." And then that's where they always said that, I nearly drowned. But
who needs enemies when you got friends like that?
Yeah. And then, I'm not like the strong. I've had like deprivation sickness before, because when I first learned how to snorkel, I can't remember where I was. I was in Spain.
Hold your breath.
I was in Spain. I can hold my breath for ages. I can hold my breath for nearly 2 minutes. So when I went to Spain, I can't remember where it was, and there was this natural harbour, and I would swim out to where it started to meet the open sea, and it was really, really deep. And I would spend a lot of time really deep underwater, because you would go out and it would be really deep and you couldn't see the bottom, but when you got to the bottom there was loads of rubbish, like tons and tons of rubbish.
Really?
Yeah, like loads of stuff. And I would going through the rubbish and seeing what I could find. And there would be fish inside crisp packets and stuff. And it just fascinated me, and I really liked it. And then I spent loads of time there, and then I was sick for the rest of the holiday because I'd spent too much time underwater.
Yeah, I did a similar thing. I remember diving down and picking up all the Euro notes.
Yeah.
Well, they might not have been euros. They might have been pesos. And I had a pair of flippers and a snorkel. My dad bought, I'm a proper water baby. Get me near the water and I'll swim all day. I can free. Well, say a free dive. I can dive quite deep. I understand.
Yeah.
Same as you. And my daughter's the same. She loves the water. My wife, like, you splash water on her. It's not funny. That's not funny. I'm like, honey, it's like 21 degrees. You'll be dry in a second. It's not worth getting angry. It's just water. She hates it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was diving down and people had been swimming and money had fallen out of their shorts. I collected loads up. I had loads of stuff. I came back with loads of random rubbish. So yeah, is that going flat?
Yeah. Shall I close it?
Yeah, can do.
Um,
It's all part of the new setup. He could have searched something if he needs be.
if I need to.
I hope people are enjoying this new format.
I think it looks a lot better.
Is that chair killing you now?
No, it's fine.
It's actually fine.
It's fine.
That's £5 from IKEA. That chair.
It's fine. That's good.
That's not bad, is it?
No, it's
I've got 4 of them.
Keep meaning to go back to IKEA. I like a good walk around IKEA and get some meatballs.
Oh yeah, berries, gravy.
Yes,
That's what they say in Yorkshire.
that is what they say.
Berries, gravy.
I think I've lost a lot of my Yorkshire accent.
I've lost a lot of my southern accent, and now I'm mistakenly told that I'm posh.
Ah.
All my trucker friends, yeah, you're posh though, nerd. I'm like, not posh. Far from posh.
You see, if you have any other accent up here, you're posh. Like my Mrs. Emily, she sounds so posh, to like the average person, but she's just a southerner.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we do get labelled quite a lot. It's quite funny on the CB talking to other truckers, and they're like, they go to town on me, get abused. I just play up to it. I'm like, yeah, if you want to call me an idiot, it's fine.
You've got CB in the work?
No, there's an app called CB Talk by Midland. Midland used to make, well, they still make CBs. I've got like a little, like a proper, like a CB mic, but it just connects to your phone.
Oh, that's well cool.
Yeah. So, like yesterday, I was talking to an American.
Yeah.
And he was doing a run from Tennessee to Arkansas.
That's cool.
And we were like talking about Smoking the Bandit, and it's great because you're not breaking the law. It's down here. You can say your bit, put the mic down, carry on driving, and you can hear. And it just eats up time.
Yeah.
Because you're having a conversation with someone, it just flows. Your day better. You're happier. It's nice. It's really good. Good for your mental health.
Yeah.
And they're very funny.
Yeah. I could do it.
It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah.
Because they do take them. Well, they're truck drivers. They are the last of the cowboys. They are. If you're rebellious and you don't play well with people,
be a truck driver.
Be a truck driver. They are that group of people.
It's a good group of people to be involved with.
They are good fun.
Yeah.
They're good fun. So you've had a near-death experience, basically, on a boat.
You see, the thing is, at the time, I was panicking so much about the what-ifs. Like, what if this is going to happen? What if that's going to happen? Like...
Contingency planning, though, is not a bad thing.
You see, when people see me doing really stupid shit, they just think, oh, he's doing really stupid shit. But I like to think of it as if it's calculated risk. Like, either this is going to happen or that's going to happen, but I'm prepared for that. So, if this happens, I'll just suck it up and deal with it. Where that, I had no idea that any of that was going to happen.
And you got no control.
I had no control over it whatsoever. So, yeah, I was shitting myself.
And how was Al?
Well, he locked himself in a cupboard on the boat.
He locked himself in a cupboard?
And he watched F1.
There was a cupboard on there?
Yeah, there was like a wardrobe-y type thing in the corner, and he just went and locked himself in there.
And just pretended it wasn't happening?
Yeah.
That's not a bad coping mechanism.
Because inside the wardrobe there was no rain, there was no wind, there was no anything. And then once the tide started going out, it was just like, yes, we're home free. we just have to pass time. Well, we've had to pass time the whole time, but we just have to pass time until the tide gets out, and then we can get the fuck off this boat and go. Like we went, there was we got off the boat, and then there was like a spa or something, and we went in this spa, and it was like, it was a good spa. They had like sausage rolls, like warm sausage rolls and stuff in the morning.
Hang on a minute. When somebody says it was a good spa, I think of it had a really nice steam room, sauna. Like the pool was lovely. There was a well-equipped gym. The robes were fantastic. Nope. The sausage rolls were outstanding.
They had loads of cool stuff. They had.
So you all booked yourself in for a spa?
No, I wish. No, we slept. When we got off the boat, we just walked back to the van, like barely speaking to each other, which is really weird for us. And then we got in the van, and we stayed up for like weirdly, we stayed up for a couple of hours, just talking about what had happened, and then we all went to sleep. And yeah, in the morning we drove home, and that was it.
But what else could you do from, like, I think that's probably a normal thing to do.
Well, we'd have probably, if that didn't happen, we'd have probably tried to get a video out of the following day, but we just kind of, so the night we spent on the castle island,
I feel like that could have gone south.
That could have gone quite bad.
You do a lot of these things where you go out to these things.
I had a life jacket, so I'm like, I'll just float. I'm not fussed.
One of the things I wish you'd do is spend some money and buy a proper rib.
Yeah.
And just tow a rib. And then when you do these things, you've got a decent boat to get out of there.
Well, we had 3 boats. Because we all went, so we were okay with boats. We were fine. It was just, if the weather got really bad, we'd be stuck on the island, and we just have to wait it out. It wasn't that bad, but because it was like the second day in, we wanted to get back, and we'd already lost a day because we planned on staying on that island the day before. So we were eager to get back. But that night when we woke, so what happened is, when we got onto the castle island, the first castle island we stayed on was absolutely unreal. It was one of the best videos I'd
Oh, really?
It was probably one of the best places I've ever been. It was unreal. We went on and we stayed up really late. We looked at the stars, did all the really romantic stuff, and then it was just amazing. Like we were in a loch in Scotland on a castle that no one else was on it.
That's pretty cool.
It was unreal. So we've tried to replicate that, and so this castle wasn't as good. See, the castle beforehand, you could get in the turrets and go really high up. We stayed on a turret like all night. We cooked up there. It was awesome. Yeah, this wasn't as good, and it wasn't as sheltered. So we got a tarp up, and we put a tarp out, so if it rained, we were all right, because we slept outside in sleeping bags. But then when the wind got up, the tarp was like blowing like mad. So then we had to take the tarp down in the morning, which was quite tricky.
Yeah, it
was a disaster, basically, the whole thing. It could have gone up, because I was expecting at least probably 6 videos out of it, because around this time we kind of want to make sure we've got enough videos to last us over Christmas, so we'd have to film in that bit, so we can just have 2 weeks off doing whatever we want.
What you're effectively doing is guerrilla filming, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not planning. You're only doing the planning that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
And then you just rock it up and doing it.
Yeah.
Which is, like, to most people that seems like a perfectly normal thing to do, but actually, if we go back, YouTube's not been around that long, and TV, somebody died doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Where I think it was a train went through, and they were filming on a train line.
Oh.
And a girl got killed. it's not as safe as you think it would be.
Well, this is...
If you had to run it as a business and do a risk assessment for all the videos that you do, I don't think you'd ever do anything.
Well, you've got... Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the truth of the matter.
It is, but doing dangerous stuff gets views, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
To an extent, I like doing stuff that...
I don't think all of it's super dangerous.
No. Like I said, most of it's like calculated. We all know our places. Like, Al likes mines, he likes going like the tight little squeezy stuff. I don't like doing that. I'm not.
No.
I
That's horrendous.
It's not for me, that.
Do you know that video, the last mine one you did? I had to stop watching it. And do you know why?
Why?
Because I kept holding my breath.
Right, well,
I was going...
There's a mine video that we did after that. And we didn't know anything about this mine. We didn't know anyone who went to it beforehand. We just knew that there was a mine there, which can be quite troublesome because we don't know where we're going or anything like that. We ended up getting lost in it for a little bit, which was okay, I guess, because we figured out where we were and we went back. But there was a point in that mine where I was on my own in the pitch black without them two. We don't normally split up for about an hour.
Really?
Yeah, and I turned my torch off because I just wanted to conserve energy. But there was a bit that went off to the left, and it just kept going, and then it kind of... We were stuck on this first floor for ages, and there wasn't any signs of it going up or down. And there was a sign of it going down, and then we sent Al to go look, but Lordy went like halfway down this thing, and then Al went off on his own, and I just like turned the torch off, and I'm just in the dark. And then in a mine, when you go around the corner, even if like say like we're this far apart and I went round a corner, you can't hear what I'm saying.
No.
There's it's just so sound deadened.
Yeah. I've been in them. People think that they're full of echoes.
They're not. They don't echo at all.
At all, no.
They don't echo at all. So I'm just sat there. Jeez. And then there was a bit further on in that mine where it got really narrow, and it looked like there was like partly a cave in there, and where it was really narrow, and so Al was like, "Oh, I'll go through and I'll check, see if it's worth going past it." So me and Lordy stayed still, and Al went past the caving bit, and he was gone a bit longer than was comfortable. So Lordy was like, "Oh, I'll go and see if he's all right." So then Lordy went, and then Lordy disappeared. So then I was on my own again.
Oh no!
So and I was waiting for quite a long time. So I was like, "Shit, something happened." So I was like, "You know what? I'll go and have a look." So I then started walking, and I walked like maybe 15 minutes, and I couldn't find them. And I got to a point where it split off into like two. So I was like, this is getting dangerous now, so I'm just going to go back to where I was. And then eventually they came back and found me. Jeez. But yeah, that was a bit sketchy, that one.
I had an idea. I was watching you do these videos, and I thought, how would you make this any safer? And I thought of an idea. You know, bicycle lights?
Yes.
That you can buy for... You can get them on an alley for like a quid.
Yeah.
Get the red flashing lights, and then put them down. And because they're a line, you can point them to the direction that you went in.
Yeah.
And you could take a 5 each in your pocket, and you wouldn't even know you had them.
Yeah.
And then you could just place them down on flashing. They'll last for days.
That's not a bad idea. You do, when you go down these mines, you do always see glow sticks, like people have snapped them, you know, as they go into...
Yeah, but the problem with a glow stick is I think it would fade faster than one of those.
Yeah.
It's not cold down there.
No, not really, no.
And that's so weird when you go in a mine, that it's actually warm.
Yeah.
Because of the heat from
it's like, sometimes it's like getting off an aeroplane. Sometimes as well. Bad. Sometimes as well, it'll be like, it's been really hot outside and we've gone into one and it's like been just a nice temperature. It's just a nice temperature inside of mine. It's weird.
Funny,
it is weird. Like, remember when I first started going in mines and I was really like paranoid about talking too loud in case, like you see on films where people shout and stuff. But people use dynamite in these caves. They're not gonna...
The only thing I don't like, like when you've had somewhere that's fallen.
Yeah.
And then you go through there.
That, yeah. Because it will go again eventually.
Yeah, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
No, sod that.
No, that is...
But weirdly, where we live now, there's a mine under here.
There's mines everywhere.
Yeah. So this sits on there's a coal seam that runs pretty much all through this whole area. All these houses, all the way along, and on the top of the hill, we're all sat in a coal mine.
How is it?
It's like over 100 years old.
A lot of that won't be mapped properly.
No,
anyway.
not at all. Well, it's all Victorian, isn't it?
Well,
they were digging it out and putting it through the mills, the textile mills. They've been burning
there's
it.
There's a lot of that around here.
Yeah.
All the shoddy mills.
That's mad, isn't it? There's a lot of history around here.
That's where the term, I don't know if you know this, that's where the term, I haven't got a pot to piss in, came from the shoddy mills.
Really?
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but so if you were so poor that you didn't have a pot to piss in, basically around all the shoddy mills, you would pee in buckets or bottles and leave them outside your house, and the shoddy mills would buy the pee off you.
What?
And they used it to treat certain, I don't know if like certain walls and stuff. I don't know what type of materials, but then you would always make a little bit of money from your pee. But if you were so poor that you couldn't afford a pot to piss in, then you couldn't
make any
money.
And that comes from this area?
That comes from here, yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's mad, that, isn't it?
That is mad. The word shoddy?
Yeah.
As in, that's a shoddy. Like, that's not going to work, that's shoddy.
Yeah.
Is that from those guys?
Maybe so, I don't know. Makes sense.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Like Square Mill, you know where that comes from?
No.
So, back in the day on the boats, like Victoria, Victory, down in HMS Victory, in Portsmouth, the boat there, the tables were like this, with no seams, and then it had a lip all the way around the outside, and the tables were square. The plates were square. So when the boat was listing, left, right, backwards and forwards, your plate would only slide to the edge. Right. And so that's when they would sit down for a good square meal. It was the meal of the day.
I see.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. Sesh, like going on a sesh, that comes from the mills.
Ah.
So they used to have session time in the mills, and the local brewery would supply beer.
That's mad.
Yeah, and bring beer round.
That's mental.
And everybody would have a beer whilst they're working. And that was... I mean, it's funny because beer does have some medicinal properties.
Well, like...
It's like malaria and things like that.
Yeah.
It's good for stuff like that, but... I mean, back then in the Victorian days, I didn't really know what it did.
There was people drank them because there was no clean water.
Yeah,
and it was
much
like
cleaner.
children. Even it was like 1-2% alcohol. It's better than drinking shitty water and getting like typhoid or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So session time was basically giving all the workers beer.
Wow.
So that's where you get that. Oh, I'm going out on a sesh. I'm going on a session.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a relatively new thing. I'm gonna have a session.
No, well, I guess that's define new, isn't it? It's 100 years old.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Oh, my back's hurting now on this chair. I'm getting old. I'm showing my age here. I hope this podcast is working well for you people.
It looks better anyway.
It does look better.
Yeah, I think so.
Does it sound better?
Yeah. Because
you're monitoring.
We've been okay the whole time.
Yeah. I think before how we had it worked out, you couldn't see us properly.
That's the problem with like podcasts. They just.
I saw these boom arms are not great because if you tap it, you can hear the spring.
Yeah.
And if you
don't
bang
like
the table...
hydraulic ones, really, but they're expensive.
Oh, they're mad money. But I have seen some low-profile ones that, like, so they're lower. So if you've got camera angles, you haven't got microphones in your face.
Yeah.
But that is the next phase of that. You would never believe it, but we're actually in a shed, a space shed. But it does look a kind of spaceship here now.
A little bit. I don't know. You could probably pass this as not being in a shed.
But it is a shed.
But it is, yeah. If you didn't tell anyone, the majority of people would not think it was in a shed.
It's a very good quality shed.
Mm.
Tiger Sheds. I got sponsored by them and they sent me a shed. It's amazing.
Did you have to build it or did they build it?
No, I built it. I did a video on it. I sweat profusely putting it together. But, yeah, got moob sweat and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice size.
It's not bad. I wish I'd gone for a slightly bigger one.
What was the option there?
I didn't ask, actually. They just said, what size do you want? I said 8x10.
Hmm.
But I could have, in retrospect, an 8x14 would have been nice. That would have really made it.
Yeah. You got the room. Could have done it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad size. Postage stamp garden.
I'm still... Well, I built my shed. It's waterproof. I just haven't... I'm like wanting to insulate it all. But like with proper... I've insulated 3 walls. I just need to do like one more.
See, the idea was with this insulation works quite well.
It's it's warm. It's nice.
Yeah. But I was meant to then panel it over the top.
Yeah.
But I just haven't had time, money.
Yeah.
I'm like, I quite like the weird, because we're doing a podcast and it's weird and silver and shiny and it's insulated. It's kind of brilliant. It's like you're doing it in a grow farm.
Yeah. Like
It's got that vibe, isn't it?
A little bit.
It's just a bit of fun. So, what was the other thing I was going to ask you? Something else. So, your venture into cars, you like that knife, don't you?
Yeah, I like knives.
Yeah. Your venture into cars, is this something you want to keep doing? Is it something that is more hassle than it's worth? Like, are you doing well from the views from it?
Yeah. We do okay for the views. I think the last car video we did, we got 3 videos out of it, which was pretty good. I think we broke about even. So, I mean, because we can't afford to do car videos all the time.
Well, there's nothing cheap with cars.
At this point, yeah, we can't afford to do car videos all the time. So we're kind of still. It's still a learning process with them, and we're just trying to figure out a good format. And like the thing with the idea, because we're so limited with what we can do with cars at this point, because it's getting the cars, which is one thing, and then what we can do with the cars. Like we don't have a big test track we can fuck about, and we've got.
Yeah, but you took him to Tockworth, didn't you, on the drag strip? That was flipping brilliant.
Yeah, we managed to do that.
That video was great fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed making that. It was really good.
What about...
That was only meant to be... That whole video, the first car thing, that was only meant to be one video, and we were only going to go to the drag strip to film maybe like 2 minutes of that film, but then we ended up getting carried away, and it just turned out to be another video.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah,
I liked it. It gave. I like your videos when they have a bit more of an ending.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot on YouTube, actually, that the endings can be quite rushed.
Yeah. I think, you see, the problem with YouTube is you kind of already know what's going to happen with the thumb and the title, because they've got to give away a little bit or on most of what you're watching. So you kind of got a rough idea. Unless it's got like a really strong conclusion to what happens at the... You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I always find the ones that have like a cheeky tagline, a bit sort of clickbaity, if you go to the last little block of the video, that's where it'll be.
Well, I always the videos that I tend to watch on YouTube are videos that are like a question, like, can we do this? And then find out if they can do it. Because then there's like more. I don't really watch that much YouTube anymore. I've kind of gone off it a lot because I don't know.
Well, you just do it a lot. I tend to watch it. I watch it more than I have in a while because with the new job and learning that, I was going to do loads of stuff with work and stuff, and I burnt out a little bit. I have the same cycle. I'm like, I go all out, make a bunch of stuff, really keen.
Yeah.
Run out of steam. Don't touch it. Rest. Get my energy back, and then I repeat the cycle.
See, the good thing about us is if one of us isn't feeling it, we're dragged along by the other two. So it's going to happen, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
We're going out filming. So I can understand if you're doing it on your own. It's very swings and roundabouts.
I've only got 3 kids.
Well, yeah, you've got a life as well.
Yeah, that's the hard bit.
It's very easy to. It's like with me. It's like with all 3 of us. We've all got full-time jobs, we've got families, hobbies, stuff that we want to do outside of it. And then when we've got a film, sometimes it can be a hindrance. Sometimes it can be like yes, we're going to film, especially if it's something we want to do. But yeah, it can get in the way. I mean, obviously, if it was a job, like my full-time job, it would be. It's like one less thing I can put more energy into it because I've got.
Yeah. You're not thinking about. Yes. I'm selling my time over here.
Yes.
And I've got to give them value. You're like, hey, I'm doing this for me now. And then you'll always put more in.
I started yawning now, I can't stop. But yeah.
You're getting old.
Yeah, I am getting old.
It's looking at me. You're like, damn, he looks tired. It's clearly the guy's worn out.
I can't remember what time I was up this morning, but I was up early-ish.
I tried a CBD gummy.
How was it?
Tasted like
ass.
It was like I like bitter. I like bitter flavours, but it wasn't like bitter nice.
No, But
I get really bad. I suffer with anxiety sometimes, and I get restless legs really bad.
Yeah.
And it's been bad in this job.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because
too
much caffeine.
I can imagine
sat down.
And you've got a lot of responsibility on your back.
Yeah. And you never. It's not like I was trying to tell somebody the other day. It's not like driving a car where you can just switch off and just cruise along. You are constantly looking in the mirrors every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You're always watching. You're always preempting. It's like you're on it all the time. So long stints, hours.
Yeah.
Of concentration. So I thought one of the other truck drivers, I was chatting with them, and she said, I started taking these CBD gummies. Not often, just now and again. If I get like my legs are really uncomfortable and I get a bit anxious, and I have one of them, and I'm fine. I was like, send me the link. I want to try these. So tonight, I was like, before you turned up, I tried one, and Lid's tried one, and I was like, I'm very laid back. I feel, and my legs aren't doing their thing.
What percentage CBD is it?
I don't know. It's like 30 milligrams.
Yeah, I think I tried when they first came out. I bought some, but did someone give me one? I can't remember. But you've got to be careful because they just sell rapeseed oil and just.
Is that what it is?
But yeah, I did.
They are quite oily when you look at the gummies.
Try them, and they just seemed like a bit of a cure-all at first. But then, because I can be incredibly anxious. I haven't since been on the boat. I haven't been anxious about anything.
Really?
Yeah, just it was when I got home. It was like.
That's fascinating.
It was like a switch had been flicked, and There's been some other stuff happening. I'll tell you about it off camera. But
Everyone's going to be like, what was that?
yeah, don't worry, it's nothing exciting. But yeah, it was just like I just didn't care. It's just like all these troubles and stuff. I was like, I'm here. I'm not hurt. Everyone I love is fine. Why do you care? Why are you?
Yeah.
Why are you so?
So what you're saying
involved?
is we all need to have a near-death experience.
Yeah.
It does make a difference.
It just like, you know, I do push my luck a lot with stuff, and that was just, yeah, it was. I was terrified. I never thought I would be that scared as an adult over anything.
Yeah.
But I was absolutely petrified of what is going to happen, and just like,
I've got to admit, I don't think I'd have done too well.
oh, it was
Knowing what I know about the sea and the way it can be, and
yeah,
like I'd have been a mess.
yeah.
I do like Al's locking himself in a cupboard.
He went in the
Because
cupboard.
I think that's kind of brilliant strategy, because there's nothing you can do.
Well, yeah, well, that's exactly what both of them two said. They were like, just sit, because Lloydie sat on the floor, because he said when you sat on the floor, you couldn't really feel it shaking and janky as much. But then again, when we were getting hit by waves, the waves were coming over and everything was getting wet. So he kept getting wet, but
Flipping it.
he kept on. But yeah, I held on to these two bars, and I was like, as soon as I can, I'm jumping off.
For 7 hours?
Yeah, I was like, I only moved like maybe a couple of meters. I just walked a little bit, but
Gee whiz. That's some commitment.
I was like hyper-focused. You know, when you get, I was hyper-focused to just get off this boat.
Did you find your mind playing tricks on you? Like you could go now.
A lot of things went through my head. Like a lot.
Did you have any moments where it goes slow motion?
Yeah.
See, I've had that. You know when they do montages of crashes?
Yeah.
And it goes in slow motion. I always thought that was a bit of a for film.
Yeah.
Until when I did motorsport, I had some big old bumps. And there's these moments within what's happening where it all kind of slows down.
Yeah.
And it's really strange. It doesn't stop like it does in the films, but there's like this. Your brain must suddenly speed right up because it's like in super survival mode, and it's like we're rolling upside down now. Right, you need to do this, this, and this to survive.
Think fast.
Yeah. So there was once. So back in the day, this shows how old I am. When I used to race two strokes, you didn't have a front nose cone. You just had an open bumper, open wheels. And I rode up the back of somebody that, I hit them because I was trying to get past them. They spun in front of me and I rode up the front of their car and I was doing probably, 50, 60 miles an hour. And my front bumper got caught on their crash helmet.
Jesus Christ.
And I just remember as I was going over the top of them, thinking I'm going to rip their head off.
Was he like pinned to his seat?
He was pinned backwards over the back of his seat like that.
Yeah.
So he's over the seat and my bumper is here.
Yeah.
And you could just see the look in his eyes was like, oh, this is bad. And I thought, one, that's just going to flip me straight back into the floor. And I don't fancy slamming my head into the concrete, into the tarmac. So I would have just gone like that.
Yeah.
But also I'm thinking, well, what if he doesn't do that and breaks his neck? So in that moment, I kicked him in the visor. I kicked his crash helmet over the top. I went bang like that. And his head popped off the bumper as I was going over. And I said to my dad, like, after, I was like, is he okay? He's like, yeah, but you've cracked his visor. I said, oh yeah, I kicked him really hard. Now, those visors were ZA approved or what? Well, no, it was before ZA approval. They were bullet, like a stone could hit one of them and not break it.
Yeah.
And yet, I kicked it with a effectively a slipper on, and it broke it. Because in that, and you think how fast that would have happened to watch it, it would have been boom, over. But I had all these thoughts, it all happened, and everything started to slow down a bit. So that 7 hours must have felt like,
well, what was
way over 7 hours.
So I think it's called, is it the bow, the bottom bit?
The bow's the front.
Is it the stern?
The stern's the back.
What's the bottom bit?
Keel.
Keel, that's it.
Yeah.
So the keel kept hitting against the floor. Now I thought that the keel was grounded on the floor. So initially we were just swaying back and forth like that.
Yeah.
But then when it started floating, we were doing like an S shape. And I was looking back and I could just see this top bit here just swaying like this. And I was like, oh shit, this is not real. And I just stared at the floor for what seemed to, I couldn't look up. And then when I'm like looking at this bit, in the distance, like where my hand is, there's like a city, like a little town off in the distance. And it's all lit up. And then like from the light of this, you could see the rain just slamming down. And the waves like crashing up. And then lightning every now and again. It was,
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It was
the mad bit is those things are like super, super strong.
Yeah.
And the other thing, that's wood, isn't it?
Yeah.
So unlike steel, you could burn a piece of wood down to like that much and it'll hold its strength.
Yeah.
So it's probably a lot stronger than you think it is.
Yeah.
And it's got a bit of flex to it.
Yes.
But you don't know with any certainty.
Well, this is it, like,
Flipping
because
heaven.
there was walls inside that got blown down. That just got blown down by the wind. And then so on this metal bit here, on the top bit, there was a metal, like a trapdoor on top. That got blown off, kept banging against the metal, so dish, dish. And then the door to the bridge just kept on banging and banging and banging. It was mental. It was absolutely mental.
So there'd been no benefit to going in the bridge?
No, none whatsoever. We were probably in the best place we could have been. But yeah, anything compared to that, it's
so was Al not traumatised at all?
Not. I don't think so. No, but I don't really think he thought too much about what was actually happening.
Yeah.
Because what?
I'm kind of jealous of people like that. I keep going back to it because I wish in those moments I could detach myself like that. I'm a bit like that with flying because I'm mechanically minded. I find flying a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But I love aviation.
Yeah.
And I think, well, there's loads of fail-safes, there's loads of this, there's loads of that. But in my head, I think, do you remember that jet that went down in Brazil and was spinning to the floor because it had too much ice on the wings?
That was mental.
Yeah, there's...
You see, I
can't... so I have to detach myself when I'm flying. I'm just like, oh, well, I'm in it now. There's nothing I can do.
I'm very much the same. I overthink about everything. Well, this could happen, this could happen. Where I don't think he thought that, and because he was... Yeah, I just think that he didn't really think about what could have happened. Where I think Lloydie kept on telling himself everything was going to be okay. Where I was like, this isn't all right. I'm not okay with this. This is stupid.
Yeah. What have we done?
Yeah.
Am I going to be on a newspaper?
Yeah. That's what I thought. And we might still be when the video comes out.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. I've got a feeling that this might go viral.
But
it's going to be people doing reaction videos to your video.
We filmed like 4 hours of footage on there. Lloydie just kept on filming, and then it got to a point when I stopped speaking, and it got. So what happened first is we got surrounded by water, And then the far side, this side getting hit with these like random waves.
So when it was surrounded by water, was there a moment you could have got off and swum?
There was a bit where it probably got like knee deep, and we could have jumped off and just got wet and got back to shore, but we did.
Oh, I bet you were kicking yourself.
I was like, we should have just got off when we could have done. Anyway, so the far side, we'd get hit every now and again with waves, and you could feel it. They were only small at the time, and you could really feel it. And at first, it was like, it was funny, and oh yeah, haha, we're getting hit by waves. And then they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the boat started floating, and it was just fucking horrendous. It was truly horrible.
The other thing you might have been feeling, so it felt like the keel was hitting the floor.
Yeah.
But it might have also been the ropes running to the end of the tether.
It might have been.
So the chain.
So it's pulling
it's
it.
Doosh, and pulling it tight.
Yeah, it might have been that, yeah.
Because there's a big old chain at the back there. There's one at the front on that concrete.
I don't think the one at the back's there anymore.
Oh, really?
It was just the one at the front. So
that could have gone so bad.
It could have gone a hell of a lot worse, and it was a bit of it was a massive wake-up call for us, for all of us. And
you're like, I'm not doing that again.
Like after like maybe a week when I came down with it, I was like, maybe we should go back and sleep on it, but in the summertime and make sure it's okay. Because what I would do is, if it was like, if you picked a really calm day, what I would do is I would wait until the water went up, and then I would kayak to it.
Right.
So then I had a boat to get off it if I wanted to get off it.
Right. Okay.
Because from here, from like this side to land, it's not that far.
No.
But because that night it went up above the path, like people were out in the morning to take pictures of how bad the whole thing was. Because like there was so much. Let me see if I can.
Jeez Louise.
Let me see if I can find the picture.
That could have ended horrendously.
It could have been incredibly
Goodness me, man.
bad.
So what's coming up next?
So the first
swim in the channel.
The first video.
Can we race a migrant boat?
This is the video I took the morning after.
Guys.
Oh wow, you look traumatised.
If the majority of you from the UK, you'll know whether we got the backlash of that hurricane from America. Can't remember what it's called. They had two in shock succession. You know that we got the backlash of it, and you know that we've been in Scotland, so we got the worst of it. We got absolutely fucking pelted last night. But I'm on the beach here. Look at the devastation shit that's washed up. Anyway, last night in hurricane winds, we spent the night on this.
There she is.
And I don't say this lightly, but it changed us all last night. And I don't know when the video is going to be coming out, because things got really real, really quick. Yeah, anyway, you just have to wait and see what we do with the footage, because it was fucking crazy. Peace.
That's mad. You look haggard.
Oh,
that.
Yeah, I was.
You look like you've aged 10 years in that.
Yeah, I was. Well, we didn't really sleep much that night. It was like I struggled to sleep that night. I actually had nightmares that night. I had two nightmares about the boat. Yeah, when I was sleeping. It took me ages to get to sleep because I was
nightmares about the boat straight after.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Goodness me.
It was
See, now, the thing about this video is if it gets picked up by people like Atozy and Charlie from Penguin Z and...
Well, we thought it was going to get picked up by like UK Hidden Gems, and then that's probably going to end up getting dismantled.
UK Hidden Gems?
It's an Instagram page that shows like stuff like that. Like,
oh, really?
Just like, stuff that people don't really know about, but then it gets put on there and then everyone knows about it and they end up getting trashed. But
right, they trash them.
Yeah, because loads of people go to it, and like we went to
oh, you mean right, okay.
Sorry,
I'm meaning more, so what I'm meaning is Atozy and Charlie are very much like T channels.
Right.
So they talk about like what's current or whatever. Atozy's like, can you believe what these TikTokers did for clout?
Right.
He just did a video about this Mexican girl caught her boyfriend cheating, so she kidnapped him and took him back to Mexico and then drove back, deported him.
Wow.
Because he was an illegal.
What?
Yeah.
That's a bit mental.
That's mental. So he covers stuff like that. So like something like that. I mean, I watched this. Oh, mate, I'll send you the link because you couldn't make it up. It's insane. You know, when we were talking in a podcast a while ago about the toxic people in groups.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've seen a worse case. Well, I mean, there are bad cases that are worse, but this is what right up here. But it's the subject matter that it's about. Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Blake 7 and Red Dwarf props.
Yeah.
And a guy who had a big collection died. And this other guy who said that he was in the will and was good mates with him and all this stuff sent some of the props to some other guys who are people that repair props, make props, do all that. And as it turned out, the will was fake. That he'd faked this will.
Yeah.
And tried to scam the guy's mum. And then then the prop people were like, hang on, something's not right here. They reported it to the police. Because you're not allowed to take any property out of a house unless the will's been executed.
Yeah.
And this guy had like moved all the stuff out, not knowing that actually this guy didn't have any control. He was committing fraud.
Right.
And so they reported him for faking the will, and then he from what I can gather, topped himself when he realised he was caught. But in the process, trashed this guy who had nothing. He'd done nothing wrong. He just been offered these really cool props. Could you fix them?
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, as long as I can make some molds from these make some items from these molds that I can sell.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want."
Right.
And he was like, "It's just really cool to be part of it." But they tried to trash his business. They stressed him out that much he had a nervous breakdown. And then another one of these people that took the props took offence to this other guy and then registered a company and trademarked his YouTube page.
Oh.
And then started doing all this weird stuff. And I was like, this is mental. I mean, it's all over Doctor Who props and Red Dwarf props. I'm like in the real world, no one cares.
Yeah.
No, like literally no one cares. And these people are like just so desperate to be somebody over. They'll ruin somebody's life.
Yeah, it's very strange how it's very strange how people will just go to mental lengths to just it's
bonkers. It's almost as mental as getting on a boat. But
almost.
No, to be fair on you guys, dude, I don't think you could have predicted that was going to happen. And it looks safe. It's 20 feet from the coast, isn't it?
I knew it was going to be bad winds, but
yeah, you didn't think it was going to move anywhere.
I didn't think it was going to get surrounded by water.
No.
So,
or float.
Yeah. So that's.
I don't think any of you guys could have predicted that.
But yeah,
And you know, when you see something that says, "Oh, it's high tide," there's high tide, and then there's freak high tides.
it was
Like, you know, how do you? You can't possibly know.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was mad.
So what have you got coming up? I need to kick the on-air sign off.
So
What are you doing next?
the next video out is the first video of our Scottish trip, and then I think Audie's edited them in order, and then we're filming on the 16th of November. I don't know what we're doing. No idea.
No idea.
I think we're gonna fit a snorkel to the
Oh yeah.
Freelander, and
Make sure it's watertight.
yeah,
And don't forget the engine moves when it's in that engine bay,
yeah.
because that's what everybody forgets. They fit a snorkel, and they don't. They're like, "Oh, it's solid." That. No, that's not what you want. It needs to be super flexible.
Right. Okay. I'll take that into consideration.
Engine end.
But yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna fit the snorkel. I'm not sure where we're gonna take it to try it out.
Reservoir.
Yeah. Just gonna wear
Scuba gear.
Scuba gear. Yeah.
Have you seen the guy that did it with the Jeep?
No.
He got a foot. He literally put an exhaust on it. It was Fred from 4x4, part of the Motor Trend lot. They axed his show, but it was brilliant. And he built this thing, and it had the snorkel for the exhaust and the air, and he drove it through a reservoir with like scuba
And it was
gear
fine.
on. Yeah, got through. I think I say he's all right. I'm sure he got to the other side with it. Amazing.
Yeah.
See, you could do that.
We probably could.
Brighouse swimming pool.
Yeah.
They wouldn't mind. Or Lido. Was it Ilkley Lido?
I'd like to go back to that 4x4 centre that we went to, and just, I don't know, do something else there, because that was really fun. We went there really ill-prepared, because we were going to do, I don't know if I told you, but we were going to do the Cinquenta versus the Freelander.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, did I tell you about this?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, I didn't even know that the Land Rover had a jack in the boot. Like, we just came so ill prepared. It was just stupid, really. But I'd like to go back there and do something else. I don't know what. But
Cheap 4x4 challenge.
well, yeah, I don't know if people are sick of it though on the channel. With like just
Yeah, but you got maybe you do the 4x4 thing, but you don't do 4x4. You've got to do 4x4 cars.
yeah.
So like Passat, All Track.
I know there's a van. I know there's a transit van for sale that's a 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, something like
yeah.
stuff that it can't be a Land Rover or a Jeep.
Yeah.
It still makes me laugh when I gave you that light.
Yes.
And Lloyd's like, who's John? Who's he? Who is he anyway?
That light bar's really good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. Yeah.
What was it? It was that was another Chinese special.
Yeah, it's good. It's decent.
Ah.
The reason why the battery kept on jumping out, it kept on, because we've basically just put the live through like the battery thing, and because it's not, you can't tighten like the terminal thing. You can't tighten it up fully because it's got the wire in it. So it's loose. So then it jumps off, and that's fine.
You can't. There's a way of fixing that.
We were gonna just wire it in, but we just can't be asked. Probably fix that when we do the snorkel.
That's hilarious. It's hilarious. I thought of another thing that would be cool. I'm trying to convince Jeff buys cars to do it.
I nearly sold the Metro to Jeff buys cars.
Did you?
Yeah, but he wasn't interested. I think it was a bit too rich for his blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a Volvo guy, though.
Well,
if it's Swedish,
roll tight asses.
He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You give him a bit of British Leyland. He's like me. We don't like British Leyland stuff.
I bought another Volvo recently. Yeah.
It's got no front end.
Yeah, well, I started stripping it because it had a lot of parts on it that I want for my Volvo. Because what's weird is I've only ever owned.
It's got 850 wheels on it as well, isn't it?
Yes, I think I'm going to keep them. I'm thinking about painting them either white or bronze.
No, don't paint them.
Why?
Because they're nice. They look good.
So
yeah. You bought it to strip it?
That's what is it? I can't remember what year it is. I think it's a 99. And the only ones the other 3 that I owned are 97s, and none of them had any rust on whatsoever. But the 99 is like got lots of rust. Both the sills are knackered.
Oh really?
So I don't know if they changed like steel manufacturers in
possible.
that time.
It's like you don't buy D-Reg Fords.
Oh really?
On D, I don't know what happened.
They just got lazy.
Well, we think that they bought. The rumor always used to be that they bought a load of steel from Russia. Oh. And it was junk.
Just crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all the sills had gone on it, which I didn't even know that 940 could rust at all. I know
they're PVC coated.
They are, yeah.
Unless it's had an accident at some point.
It might have done.
And just had sills, aftermarket ones.
But the engine had just been rebuilt on that. Even though it was rebuilt badly, it was still rebuilt. So it had a brand new head on it, which hadn't been. So I took all that off, and then because I'm putting a bigger turbo on mine, it had like fresh gaskets, which I've robbed all the gaskets off it for mine. It had a chipped ECU, which I've got a bunch of chips for mine, but I just haven't chipped it yet. So I was going to just put that one in. And it had all been set up with a boost controller and stuff like that. So I was going to put that over, but I wanted to do the 3-inch swap because it's like a 2.7 or something. I think I've told you, yeah. I'm in two minds about it all, whether or not to turbo swap it or not, because I'll probably just explode it.
I'd be surprised if you do.
But apparently it's a Volvo turbo. It's off a 960.
It'll be fine.
So
it's a red block, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like mental strong those engines.
Yeah. So I think I'll be alright.
Give it a go.
I mean,
if it pops, it pops.
I got the 480 out. Like I uncovered it all and I cleaned it all up, and it's been.
Is it full of water?
No, it's not. I put a cover over it, so it's all right. But the one of the doors has started rusting a little bit. I've got loads of doors for them, so I'm fine with that. Just need painting it, but I'm going to paint it black at some point. I need to. It's just time. I just don't have the time. But I drove it around the garden. Oh, it's so cool, so cool.
It makes him sound like he's got a mansion.
I don't.
I drove it around the ground. I drove it from the east wing to the south wing. It was fantastic.
A gearbox had seized on it, so I had to unseize that. But apart from that, it was fine.
We used to say 480 ES stood for ensuite.
Yeah,
so
the back
leaked so much water.
The back does fill up. Where the spare wheel is, it does. Mine rusted through. I've had to have all that sorted out.
And the wiring loom was too short for the car.
I've had no electrical problems with mine.
No. But so a lot of them got recalled.
Apart from, so the last time I started it up. Sorry, the second to last time I started it up, it was only one headlight that was popping up, which is a known fault. You can there's like a little dial if you put your hands down, and you can manually put them up.
Oh really?
A lot of people when they brake, because the little motors are like rocking horse shit, you can't get them. So a lot of people when they die, they just have them constantly up.
Oh no.
So it was only one that was popping up. And I was like, oh shit! But I've got like a box full of lights and motors because I stockpiled everything I could get my hands on. Like I would just go on Facebook and type in 480 and I'd just buy it. So I got loads of spares. So I was like, oh shit! So I just thought, I'll just put it on the back burner and sort it out on another day. I started up this time. I tried the lights; they both worked. Just mad. I don't know if it's because I'd had it covered up for so long. It might have just dried out
Yeah.
whatever
Could have been,
got
It
wet.
could have. Sometimes electrical motors as well. They get a bit of rust in them, and they get dead spots, and then they just stick.
Yeah.
And it just was on a dead spot.
But that car, to say that it's apparently the most unreliablest Volvo they ever made, it's never really let me down.
Yeah, but the new ones are shocking.
Well,
Chinese built
they're
Geely
just
ones.
all like Ford engines and.
No, they're not now. No, the new stuff is like
I don't know
it's
any
junk.
I refuse to.
Well, Volvo have had to take one of them off sale because it kept trying to
Really?
kill people. Yeah, just setting off on its own, and then another one drove itself off a 6-story building
What?
and killed the owner. Yeah, just drove off.
Yeah, I don't like new cars.
Yeah, the new, like that. It was always Volvo's ethos that no one ever died in a Volvo.
Yeah.
And that's what since China's got hold of it, that's gone out the window.
Yeah, no,
I don't want a Chinese car.
No.
Ever, no matter how cheap they are or how good they look and how many LEDs, I am not interested. My mate bought one of them MG.
Oh, yeah, the new electric ones.
And it's junk.
I can imagine. They look crap.
It's just the carpet, so it didn't come with mats.
Yeah.
Because it's a lease vehicle. Within a month, there was a hole in the carpet. So that just tells you the raw material that they're making them out. It's not like my mate drives around in high heels in it.
Yeah.
Constant electrical gremlins. Have you ever bought a Chinese cheap tablet? And they work, but they're kind of glitchy.
Yes.
That's what all the electronics in all the Chinese cars is like. Like, it does work, but then sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah, because it's just half-assed. It's made by someone who doesn't want to make it.
Well, it's like, if you look at Chinese clone stuff, like, it'll have components that do the job, but they're not the ones for the job. So they're like, well, we'll put this in instead because it's cheaper. It's not the right one, but it'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they do like their own version of an XP chip that's a fake XP chip, and they just don't work properly.
Yeah.
Because they just can't produce it. So the problem you've got is, like, my truck's a 21 plate, and that was obviously lockdown time, and it's got its own gremlins because I think they used different capacitors.
I've got the van I use is
Different chips, sorry.
24 plate Vauxhall Combo, and that has gremlins because it's all like electronic dash. There's like some days where it just doesn't come on. Like, so I don't have a speedo.
Yeah. Well, this is what it's got like that. All the new
stupid.
Stuff. Yeah.
Stupid.
It's got. We've gone into this thing of using LCD screens, and then we're buying all this stuff in, and then we buy it from China, but China doesn't build it properly, and there's no way of checking. Like, they can make a diode, and it says it's got the right bands on it, but it doesn't mean it is the right diode. And like, yeah, that MG is just.
They
junk.
look crap though.
Well, the only thing I'd give it is the interior is actually a really nice place to sit. But then some of the switchgear's all right, but some of it just feels like it came out of, like, you'd see it on a fridge.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. I think what is really interesting is I commented on a crash test video. And I put, I don't care if this crash test works or not, I still wouldn't put my family in one of these.
Yeah.
And the hate on there's a whole thread of them trying to tear me apart. And I put on the comment, I said, I cannot wait to see all the CCP shills come after me and people that want to justify owning an MG. And they were like, you're snobby, you don't know anything about cars, blah, blah, blah. Massive list. Like, and it's still every few months I get a nasty message.
I'm guessing your mate didn't pick that. It was just his work car.
He picked it because he thought it was a good deal and he fancied an EV.
Right.
And he's a big soppy lefty.
Right.
So he thought, yeah, I'm going to get one.
Right.
I'm saving the environment. And then within 2 months, it's like, this needs to go back. It's terrible.
Right.
But he's stuck with it. And he hates it. Absolutely hates it. And he's like, the minute this thing can go, it's gone. Never again. I will never buy anything car-wise from China.
I just don't. I can't. I don't ever want to own an electric car.
I don't want one. We could potentially use one here, and
Yeah.
it would be good for the missus running around after kids, and me.
Yeah.
Running, but I just don't want one. I'd rather. I was looking at like big, dirty, great V8 stuff the other day. I'm like, I think this might be the last chance I get to have one.
So you're okay because you've got your truck for work, and no, I guess you still commute to work.
Yeah, it's only 18 minutes.
You could probably get away with that.
Big V8.
Yeah.
Big, dirty, great.
What were you thinking?
I quite like the Land Cruiser Amazon.
Yeah.
What a car. Or an LS400 Lexus.
Yes.
That's a cool car.
I was so close to getting one of them.
That's so cool.
Oh.
I wish I had a chance on a really nice one a long time ago, and I keep myself. I never bought it. I looked at.
They are absolute barges. They're awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I fancy a 300C.
Yeah.
Ugly, but if you got the 6.1,
The interiors are unreal. Like, have you seen the ones where the curtains are in the back?
in a Chrysler.
No, sorry, in the.
Oh, in the Lexus.
Yes,
Oh
in the
yeah, the
Lexus.
interiors. I found Toyota Crown. I'd like one of them. They've got a V12 in them.
Wow.
I looked at Bentley Continentals
Oh,
because they're quite cheap now.
it's amazing how.
But I can't ever afford to fix anything.
Well,
Goes wrong.
that's it. You just gotta keep your fingers crossed.
I really need a wee now. So I think.
Are we wrapping it up?
Shall we wrap it up?
If you want, yeah, we can.
I'm tired. I'm getting old. And it's been 2 hours. Well, we've done a solid 2 hours. Put 2 hours in there.
Wow. It doesn't seem like 2 hours.
It looks like we're trying to hide the fact that we've been drinking Budweiser.
Oh, it does.
It looks like we've deliberately
That
been
wasn't-
trying to
that
keep
wasn't-
it. No, we have no.
It wasn't strategic.
Redeem. We let you know we love you. Redeem is the main man for Budvar. If you ever want to go to Budvar
Yeah.
as a group, let me know.
Have you been?
No. But I could get you sorted if you wanted to go out there and see him.
Oh yeah, I told you, didn't I? Technically been to the Czech Republic twice.
Just to sleep.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to end this now because I am going to die. Or we here right now. Which is not great for the first time of the new set. Thank you for all my holy
Right, you're welcome.
drinks thing.
I'll
I'll
bring-
probably use this in the morning.
I'll bring you some more. It's only the ones with the animals on, which are the energy ones. And then that's the iced tea. I don't know what flavour it is.
I like iced tea. A lot.
Have it with like ice and water. Tastes way better.
Oh, okay.
And then the lemon one's okay.
Nice. Is it like lemon sip? Cold lemon sip?
No.
No.
Tastes a bit more lemony.
Mm.
Like, yeah.
Like lemon?
Yeah.
Right. Well, anything you want to say?
No, not really. I think I probably said everything I needed to say.
Cool. Well, thank you everybody for watching, listening, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella. Guten Tag, mein Frau. Au revoir, mon petit lapin.